Today we're diving deep into a bunch of different theories about what's going to happen in the grand finale of the series. The real Will is still in Upside Down. Imagine the Will Byers we've watched since Season 2 might not be the real Will. According to a popular fan theory, the one rescued from the Upside Down in Season 1 isn't actually him. Instead, some suggest he was replaced by a perfect clone or doppelganger created by Vecna, while the real Will stayed trapped in the Upside Down the whole time. The idea comes from deep in fan forums and theory videos. It builds on the fact that from very early on, Will has a weird psychic tether to the Upside Down, and, later, to Vecna. That connection made fans wonder, what if Vecna never lost control of him? What if he used that link to build a copy of Will, someone who looks identical, but isn't actually the original? When Will was rescued, that moment may not have been as clean-cut as the show portrayed. According to the theory, creating a clone or double would allow Vecna to have a spy in the real world, someone who could infiltrate Hawkins, who had the memories and the relationships, and yet served a darker purpose. Some fans argue that this double is so well made that even he doesn't know he isn't the real Will. Supporters of this theory point to various smaller clues: Will's odd behavior, his recurring emotional distance, and strange moments where the Upside Down seems to respond specifically to him. They pick apart scenes and dialogue, trying to trace a pattern. Everything from how he hid in the Upside Down to his innate ability to sense its presence in later seasons is used as evidence for this double identity idea. Some suggest that Will actually has powers. He might have subconsciously reshaped parts of the Upside Down to mimic Hawkins, creating a copy of his hometown as a way to comfort himself. That theory argues that Will's powers are strong enough to influence the dimension's appearance. In that version, Vecna admired his power, and instead of killing him, exploited him. On the flip side, a lot of people push back. Will's emotions, his pain, his quiet heartbreak, feel very real on screen. Dropping a twist that he's a fake at the last second would, in their view, cheapen his character development and erase years of growth. Stranger Things Hub. Crucially, the show's creators don't back this theory. The Duffer Brothers have publicly denied that Will was ever replaced in Season 1. Still, many fans cling to this as one of the darkest and most emotional possibilities for Season 5's finale. If the theory is true, the stakes are massive. The real Will is suffering in the Upside Down, possibly under Vecna's control, while the Will we know might be a tool, someone to protect, but also to fear. Whether it's just an imaginative stretch or a hint at something much bigger, this theory taps into everything that makes Stranger Things so compelling: identity, loyalty, trauma, and the terrifying power of the Upside Down itself. Erica will defeat Vecna. There's a theory that says Erica Sinclair will be the one to defeat Vecna in the final season of Stranger Things. The whole idea comes from a tiny but extremely symbolic moment right at the start of Season 4. In the very first episode, during the Hellfire Club's intense Dungeons & Dragons campaign, Dustin and Erica are the last players still standing against Vecna on the board. Dustin rolls the die first and fails. Then it's Erica's turn. She rolls a natural 20, the highest, most perfect roll you can get, and her character lands the critical hit that takes Vecna down. For many fans, that moment wasn't an accident or a cute character beat. They see it as a bright neon sign of foreshadowing. And if Stranger Things loves anything, it's connecting the kids' D&D games to real supernatural events. Dustin was unable to defeat Vecna in the game, and some people think that mirrors a potential failure from him or even from Eleven when the real fight happens. Meanwhile, Erica's perfect roll is seen as a symbolic prediction. When the final showdown comes, she will be the one who lands the decisive blow. Another detail fans point to is Erica's D&D character, a high-level rogue named Lady Applejack. Rogues are stealthy, precise, strategic characters who wait for the right moment and strike exactly where it hurts. That alone makes people think the eventual destruction of Vecna might not come from raw telekinetic strength, but from someone clever, unexpected, and underestimated. And in the world of Hawkins, no one embodies that combination better than Erica Sinclair. Beyond symbolism, many viewers argue that Erica has everything a final battle MVP needs. She's fearless, she's resourceful, she's brutally honest, and never freezes under pressure. Time after time, she's proven she's more than just comic relief. So while she has no powers, she has something equally important: courage and clarity in moments where others panic. Of course, this remains just a theory, but the idea has taken on a life of its own, because it's the kind of unexpected twist that Stranger Things loves. The small character becoming a giant hero. Everyone is in a psychiatric hospital or playing a D&D game. Other theory tries to frame Stranger Things as either the imagination of patients inside a psychiatric hospital or or just one giant Dungeons and Dragons campaign being played by the kids. And let's be honest, neither version works and both would be incredibly disappointing. The psychiatric hospital idea is especially bad. According to that version, everything we've watched for 5 seasons would all be hallucinations created by mentally ill patients. Not only would that twist instantly erase every moment of growth and emotional power the show has built, it would also send a truly harmful message that mental illness equals delusion, or that people with psychiatric conditions can't have real experiences or real relationships. It isn't clever, and it definitely isn't a twist with any respect for the story or for actual mental health struggles. The other version of the theory that the entire show is nothing more than a D&D campaign the kids have been playing from the start isn't offensive, but it still falls completely flat. Turning the whole series into "it was all just a game" would be the ultimate narrative cop-out. Both theories try to sound edgy or clever, but the truth is they would leave viewers feeling cheated and completely unsatisfied. 11 will defeat Vecna, but at a devastating cost. In this version of the story, she finally reaches the peak of her powers and destroys him once and for all. But simply killing Vecna isn't enough. To completely collapse the Upside Down and erase its influence forever, she has to remove every trace of it from the world, including people's memories of what happened and their memories of her. And the most painful part is that she includes herself in the wipe. Mike, Will, Dustin, Lucas, Max, Hopper, Joyce, everyone she loves will go on with their lives without remembering the girl who saved them over and over again. They won't remember finding her in the woods or fighting beside her. In this imagined ending, she walks away quietly, watching them from a distance as they live the normal, peaceful lives she always wished she could have. It's basically a Spider-Man No Way Home style ending, but emotional to an even more brutal degree. Many fans absolutely hate this idea because it feels too cruel. They argue it undermines everything 11 has fought for. After all her trauma and all her growth, ending her story alone and forgotten feels like a punishment she doesn't deserve. But others point out that the Duffers have cited Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind as one of the thematic inspirations for Season 5, a film where memory erasure is used as a way to let someone live happily, even if it means losing the person they love. That parallel is what makes this theory feel disturbingly possible. 11 and Will Byers are actually twins who were separated at birth. The whole thing begins with Terry Ives during the Hawkins lab experiments. While heavily drugged and pushed into psychic encounters, Terry supposedly had a mental connection with Henry Creel. Brenner, always aware of every detail, knew she was pregnant and monitored it closely. In this theory, Terry wasn't carrying just one baby, but fraternal twins, Jane and Will. During a chaotic, heavily sedated C-section, she only processed one newborn crying, Jane, while Brenner tested both infants in secret. Jane showed psychic potential immediately. Will, on the surface, showed none, so Brenner quietly arranged for the boy to be given up. From here, the theory goes full fan fiction. Joyce, still grieving a recent miscarriage and struggling in her marriage, unknowingly adopts Will, never realizing he was born in Hawkins' lab. That means 11 and Will have been secret twins all along. Supporters of the idea point to Will's connection to the Upside Down, his ability to sense Vecna, the way he hid in Season 1, and his strange emotional sensitivity as signs of dormant powers, a weaker version of what 11 can do. And they even add a dramatic twist. Vecna never killed Will because deep down, Henry could sense their blood relation. But the theory escalates into a full-blown action finale. Jonathan dies heroically protecting Will, and that traumatic moment is supposed to unlock Will's buried powers. Then 11 and Will grab hands, their twin bond activating like some kind of psychic circuit breaker. Together, they tear every vine and tendril off Vecna's body, rip away his abilities, leave him blind and powerless, and instead of killing him, they drag him off and lock him in a cell right next to Brenner. And to top it all off, the theory ends with a post-credits scene where 11 begins training Will, setting up an immediate spin-off. The idea that Will has low-level psychic abilities because he's biologically related to 11 is interesting. That would explain his connection to the Upside Down, his sensitivity, and even why he was spared by Vecna. But once the theory piles on secret adoptions, off-screen conspiracies, Jonathan dying just to trigger a power-up, Vecna being captured alive, and a spin-off teaser shoved into the ending, it becomes way too chaotic for most fans to take seriously.